Hi, welcome to Stampin' with Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here to make a card for you tonight. The stamp set that we're going to use for this card, there's actually two of them. It's going to be Bloom by Bloom and Life is Grand. Both of these stamp sets can be found in Stampin' Up's Occasions catalog. On page 17, you will find Life is Grand. On page 25, you'll find the Bloom by Bloom. You can also, with the Bloom by Bloom, you can buy it in a bundle with some punches and save 10%. The card that we're going to make tonight is this one. And that's the inside. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of Night of Navy paper cardstock, measured at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And we'll take our bone folder, which you can also purchase from Stampin' Up, and we'll just crease the fold a little there. And then we also have two pieces of colored paper, the first of which is the Pineapple Punch, and this measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And this is the Lovely Lipstick, which measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. We also have two pieces of Whisper White. The larger of the two will be placed on the inside of the card, and that measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And this is for the outside of the card, and this measures 5 by 3 3/4. And we're going to go ahead and start with the outside of the card. We're going to start with our Night of Navy ink. So we'll go ahead and get that open up. And this is our Make-A-Wish stamp. As you can see, it's on our Cling Mount stamp, which is a rubber and foam stamp. And we're just going to go ahead and just tap, tap, tap. You don't want to press your stamp into the ink too much, because then you'll get the outside's inky and you will have shadows on your cards, or risk having a shadow on your card. So we're just going to take this and we're going to go to the right side a little bit and leave some room for our flowers. And we're just going to go straight down and straight up. So that's our first stamp there. And I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp while we go so it doesn't sit on there very long. This is one of our Simply Chamois that we sell. This comes by itself, and I just purchased a stamp case for it to put it in. It's moist, very inky. When you use it, it gets inky, but you don't get the ink. It does not transfer from one stamp to another. You just rub this in very well. And as you can see, it's clean and ready for the next use. So we're just going to set that to the side, and we're going to go ahead, since we have the navy out, we're going to go ahead and stamp our next piece for the inside with this sentiment. And we'll just place that up here on the top, straight down, straight up. And there's the inside of your card. And we'll go ahead and also go ahead and clean this while we're at it. And set that aside. And we're done with this for now. We'll open this back up later when we have something else to do with it. The next color we're going to use is the Pineapple Punch. And we're going to, excuse me, let me take that back. We are not going to use the Pineapple Punch. We're going to use the Lovely Lipstick next, because we want to go ahead and get started with our flowers. So this one is a photopolymer stamp, and as you can tell, it's see-through. You can see where you're stamping. For photopolymer, you always want to use some type of a cushion underneath. This is one of our piercing mats. As you can see, it's like a hard foam rubber type of thing. And so we're just going to place it underneath here so that it doesn't get inky. And I'm going to go ahead and tap that up. And we'll put our first stamp here in the corner. Press and pull it up. And instead of turning my stamp around, I'm just going to turn my paper around so that each of my flowers are a little bit of a different orientation. and pull right straight up. I'll put another one here, straight up, and we'll put that one right here in the corner and straight up. So there are our flowers, and I'm going to go ahead and do this flower on the inside as well while we're at it. So straight down and straight up. And again, I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp. You can also tell that my stamp is discolored from some of the ink. In fact, it's this color ink. Our pinks, our reds, it stains the photopolymer, but it does not do any damage to it. It'll stamp just as well the next time. It's just not clear like it was when you first took it out of the box. But anyway, it does not hurt it at all, so we're going to set that to the side. And of course I just stuck my finger in the ink, which is very easily to do. We'll close that one up. Now we're going to go back to the pineapple punch. And we'll set that to the side. And we're going to punch. As you can tell, this is one that I've used for the yellow, but it is not stained like the one with the lovely lipstick. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up. And this one does, if you will look real closely, you can actually line it up with what you're doing here. And I'm trying really hard not to stick my head in the camera, so hopefully this will come out good. There we go, not too bad. And this one will go this way. And this one looks like it might go right here. Now, a little bit off there, but not too bad. I think it adds character. And right there. And we will go ahead and ink up the inside of this flower as well. And there we go. So that's done now. And I can go ahead and clean my stamp. And we'll set that to the side. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our stamp pad for the Call Me Clover, which is a green. It's a pretty green. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and we're going to use the leaf on this one. And we're going to do a two-step stamping, or a stamp off on our leaves. So we're going to go with the direct, straight, and then we're not going to ink up again. We're just going to go right here and do it again. So you can actually get basically two different colors, or two different hues of one color for this. And we'll go ahead and we'll ink this one up and stamp again. Ink up and stamp again. And one more. Now I went off a little bit here, so it's going to mess up the ink, so I'm just going to do this and stamp off so that I don't have a two-toned leaf. Alright, so there's our leaves on our card, and we'll go ahead and clean the ink off of my stamp and set that aside. Now I'm going to go back to the pineapple punch. And on this one, we're going to use, it kind of looks like a little starburst. But we're going to go ahead, it's got something on the stamp there, so let me get that off. Looks like it may be some glue. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that up, and we're going to put a couple of these in here. Just going to kind of fill in some of this white space so we don't have so much white space out there. All right, and I actually am not going to use one of those on the inside of my card. So we want to leave room to write. So we'll set that to the side, and we're going to close this up. The next one, we're going to go back to the lovely lipstick. And we're going to use this little guy. It's kind of almost like a little small flower. And I think it looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and clean that, put it to the side. And last but not least, we're going to go back to our Night of Navy. And we're going to put the stamen in the middle of our flower. It just kind of makes it pop with that Night of Navy in there. It just makes it pop. All right, so now we're ready to put our card together. Put all of this aside and take out our little foam sheet here. So at this point, you can use whatever adhesive of your choice to put this card together. I personally like the liquid glue, the Tombow liquid glue. And I'm going to go here and I'm just going to might need to get a new glue. But if you use the liquid glue, it kind of lets you move things around a little bit to be sure it's on your paper straight. Some of the other adhesives pretty much adhere right away, so you don't really have that option. So here we go with that, and then we're going to layer this on top of our pineapple punch. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and do it one more time and put our pineapple punch on our navy base. So there's the front of our card, and we need to go ahead and finish off the inside of our card. And now our card is finished. Quick and simple.